The Way of Mastery, Lesson 1, which is the way that calls you home. The first step in awakening, which is the second heading. The first step in awakening is to allow into the mind this axiom of truth. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. You experience only the effects of your own choice. So the first step is awakening. The first step, awakening, is allow this axiom of truth, which is choice, which is the little willingness. And it is this: nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. You experience only the effects of your own choice, which is your thought, which is your will. During the first part of this course, we will be building lesson by lesson on what I am choosing to call the way of the heart. It is the way unknown to the world. It is a way unknown to many that would call themselves spiritual teachers, for it is not a way of resting on or becoming dependent on magical means. We will, together, the way of the heart. Otherwise, it's not going to be your experience. So it's not resting on or dependent on magical means. That's form. Form only begets form. Form is not permanence. You want content to be content. It is rather that pathway which cultivates within you the decision to turn your attention upon your own mind, upon your own behavior, upon what is true and real for you moment to moment, to study it, to consider it, to feel it, to breathe the light of spirit through it, and to constantly retrain the mind so that it assumes complete responsibility in each moment. All right, that pathway, which is singular, no matter how many variations that seemingly happen to be, it's going to woo you. It's going to call to you. It's going to attract you. So turn your attention upon your own mind, your behavior, on what is true and real for you moment to moment. Study, consider, feel, breathe. All these things are the light of the spirit. Constantly retrain the mind so it, and I mean it more as a capital it, assumes complete responsibility each moment. That's what it means to be the light. Everything I see has all the meaning I give it. Why is this necessary? Because without it, there can be no peace. Without it, you cannot transcend the false identifications that you have chosen. You need to come to the point where you say to yourself, I have done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. So it, mind, choice, capital M, mind. Use this to transcend the false that you have chosen, that I have chosen. I come and I say to myself this: I have done this to myself, I did it, I correct it. No one is to blame, and the world is innocent. And therefore, I am innocent. In the lessons that follow, we will be communicating with you more and more deeply the finer points of the way of the heart, for it is that way that was taught to me. It is that way that brings about the reversal of every thought you have ever had about anyone or anything. It is that way alone which allows you to pass back through the eye of the needle and come to rest in the perfect peace from which you have sprung forth. So we will be communicating together. One spirit, one consciousness, Christ consciousness. More and more deeply. Slowly, gently wooing you. This is the way of the heart. You should feel it. You don't think it, even though it does appeal to your senses, I would hope. All right. That singular way, even though that it comes in many forms, it is the reversal of thought that was had. That way alone allows you to pass back through the eye of the needle, retrace your steps. So come, rest in the perfect peace from which you have sprung forth, and that is enlightenment. The way of the heart is not the way of the intellect, for indeed that aspect of the mind was never designed to be your master. It was designed to be the humble and, if you will pardon the expression, very stupid servant of the awakened heart. The way of the heart, if you think of it in the terms of the chakras, right? You've got 3 above and 3 below. Unify your 2 minds, right, in the center. These are the 7. So you have 3 above and 3 below. As above, so below. It is in the heart where you connect. This is, and this is just form anyway, but you get the content, I assume. I should hope so. So the way of the heart is not intellect or intellectualization, although we can do that. Indeed, that aspect of mind was designed to be the humble servant of the awakened heart. And that's what I am. Thought is not what you are, it is what you do. It is how you express yourself, it is how you extend or create or make. The heart is that which feels all things, embraces all things, trusts all things, and allows all things. The heart is that in which the soul rests eternally. The heart is that which is beyond space and time, and is that spark of light in the mind of God, which is called Christ. Only in that will you find the peace that you seek. The heart, which is awareness, feels, embraces, trusts, and allows all things. The heart, the soul, rests eternally. The heart is beyond space and time and is that spark of light in the mind of God, Christ. In that, you find peace. You will discover that the pathway of awakening is not a pathway of avoidance, but a pathway of truthfulness. It is not a pathway of accomplishment and pride, but a pathway of releasing from the consciousness every hope and every wish to be special, to see yourself as having made progress so that you can pound a fist upon the chest and spread the tail feathers. It is a transcendence of the hope of somehow getting God's attention so that he will look upon you and say, "Oh, you have been such a good person. Yes, we will allow you into the kingdom now." Discover the pathway, singular, though seemingly infinite. Awakening is a pathway of truthfulness. It is a pathway, yours, of releasing from consciousness every hope, every wish to be special. How about being equal and perfect? It is a transcendence, release, of the hope or fantasy of somehow getting God's attention. What makes you think you don't have? What do you think your attention is? So we allow the kingdom now. That's what we do. It is a way in which you will come to cultivate, regardless of your inner experience or degree of awakening, the willingness and the art of returning to the simplicity of empty-headedness and not knowingness with each and every breath. It is a way of life in which all things and all events become an aspect of your meditation and your prayer until there is established once again within you the truth that is true always. Not my will, but thine be done. For of myself I do nothing, but the Father does all things through me. You've heard this before, I know. So, you will. The willingness, the art, the simplicity of empty-headedness and not knowingness. You don't need it. With every breath. This is the truth that is true always. There is only one of us. Otherwise, there would be specialness. Our will is one, and I cannot mess that up. This is not just my will. This is not my will, it is ours. So thy will be done. For of myself I do nothing, which is a good thing. If I did something of myself and did something, that would be separation, so I don't want that. So the Father does all things through me. I didn't say I was the Father. But that doesn't mean that the Father can't be me or you. Are you going to limit God? So, imagine then a state of being in which you walk through this world seemingly appearing like everyone else, and yet you are spacious within. You are empty within. In truth, you desire nothing, though you allow desire to move through you, and you recognize it as the voice of the Father guiding your personality, your emotions, and even the body to the places, events, people, and experiences through which the tapestry of the atonement, the at-one-ment, is being woven, through which all of the children of God are called home again. So imagine, or how about just free your mind? You walk through this world seemingly appearing like everyone else, and yet you are spacious within. This is what I claim. You are empty within. I am empty within. In truth, I desire nothing. I allow desire to move through me. And I recognize the voice of the Father guiding my personality, emotions, and even the body to places, events, people, and experiences, which is the tapestry or the membrane of the atonement. This is woven through all children of God, which is being home again. This is the enlightenment. This is the borderland, till the body is laid aside. You trust the complete flow of that, whether you are asked to give a speech in front of 10,000 people, or you are asked to tell a friend the truth of your feelings, or whether or not you are asked to sweep the streets and live penniless. For in truth, that mind that trusts the source of its creation allows all things, trusts all things, embraces all things, and transcends all things. Trust the complete flow of that, like Taoism, in the moment, now. That mind, which is singular, trusts the source. Creation allows, trusts, embraces, and transcends all. Rest assured, whenever you feel frustration and anxiety, it is because you have decided not to trust the truth. And the truth is simply this: only God's plan for salvation can work for you. So, rest assured, trust the truth. Only God's plan for salvation can work, which is the reversal of the thought of a separate self, a separate me. Your way must always fail, for your way begins with the illusory and insane assumption that you are a separate being from the mind of God and must therefore direct your own course. For if you are sick and diseased and not at peace, why would you decide that you know how to create peace? It requires great humility to accept the first step of the path. I have done all this. I must undo it. But I have no idea how I did this. Therefore, I must surrender to something else. So, insane is still inside of sanity. It's a play on words, I know. In sane. So accept the first step. I have done this. I undo it. I don't know how I did it. That's impressive. So I'm going to expand into something that is larger than me and yet somehow myself more so. I give you this thought, and I would ask that you consider it well. What if the very life you are living, and each and every experience that is coming to you now since the moment you decided, I have got to awaken here, was being directly sent to you of your Father, because your Father knows what is necessary to unravel within your consciousness to allow you to awaken? What if the very things you are resisting are the very stepping stones to your homecoming? What if you achieved a maturity along this pathway in which you were finally willing to let things be just as they are? So, Christ, us, oneness, a choice, is I. Give this thought. I consider it well. The very life I am living, each and every experience, since the moment I decided I have got to awaken here. It is time. What if this is being given to you of yourself, directly sent to you of the Father, because the Father knows what is necessary to unravel within consciousness to awaken you? What if? What if? This is the little willingness. What if? If it was necessary to sweep the streets, you simply took a deep breath and said, Father, you know the way home, and began sweeping. And up into the mind comes the thought, oh my God, I won't be recognized, I won't stand out, people won't think I'm special, and I'm just a sweet streeper. Yet you recognize, aha, no wonder my Father wants me to do this. I've got to flush this up so that I can look at it, disidentify from it, and learn to be the presence of love in the sweeping of the street. In truth, I tell you, the least among you, according to your perception, is already equal to the greatest. And there is none among you who is less than I am. So, try this identification. Be the presence of love. The least is already equal to the greatest. There is none who is less. Is already contains I. The way of the heart begins by accepting the humility that you have created quite a mess within your consciousness. You have created a labyrinth and gotten lost within it, and you do not know the way back. Sounds like ego. The way of the heart is accepting humility, that I do not know the way back. I'm not even going to pretend. It begins by accepting that of yourself you can do nothing, for all you have managed to achieve is the creation of a whole lot of insane dramas that are occurring nowhere except within the field of your own mind. They are like chimeras, the dreams, like dreams. In truth, there is no difference between a waking state, in which you would be the director of your life, and the dreams you have when the body sleeps at night. They are both the same. So, accepting that of myself, I do nothing, except in my own world. All I have managed is insane dramas that are occurring nowhere except within the field of my own mind. They are chimeras, dreams. There is no difference between a waking state and dreams. They're both the same. They are in my mind. I wish to direct you to peace, even that peace which forever transcends the understanding and comprehension of the world. I desire, because my Father desires it through me, to bring you wholly to where I am, that you might discover there is someone that got there ahead of you. And when you look closely, you will say, ah, it's myself, capital Self. I have always been there, but I forgot. I wish to direct you to peace, which is the real world. That peace, singular, which forever transcends the understanding and comprehension of the world, I desire My Father desires it through me, to bring you wholly to where I am. This is Christ, your higher self, speaking to you, saying, come to where I am. So when you say this yourself, you are saying it to yourself. So say it within your own mind. I desire you come to where I am. Discover there is someone that got there ahead of you. Ah, self. I have always been there, but I forgot. You are there already now. You really never left. That experience and knowledge is accessible to you now, the real world, while still in a body. This is the borderland. It's like flipping to the other side of a mirror. If reality exists, it exists now. It is a choice that is available to you now. In the end of all journeying, in the end of all purification, and indeed, purification is still necessary, you will discover that to awaken means to have journeyed nowhere. It means to have arrived at a goal that has never changed. So, the end of all journeying, the end of purification, indeed. Discover that to awaken means to have journeyed nowhere. A goal that has never changed. You are your own goal. Awakening is only remembrance, but it is a remembrance not just of the intellect. It is not an idea as you would understand ideas. It is an idea that vibrates through the whole field of your beingness, so that even the cells of the body, while yet the body remains coalesced together in its present form, awaken and relax into the truth that is true always. So awakening is only remembrance. It's not an idea you would understand normally as ideas. It vibrates through the whole field of your beingness, even the cells of the body, while the body remains coalesced, fine, in its present form, but awaken and relax into the truth that is true always. This is the real world, or the borderland, or enlightenment, or unified consciousness. If you were a gardener, you would not cultivate the art. Would you not cultivate the art of weeding your garden? Would you not look to see that the soil is just correct dampness? Would you not keep your eye on the clouds and the horizon and the heat of the day? Would you not cover the delicate plants that need protection while they are growing strong? And if those that would come would not respect your garden, would you not ask them to leave or build a temporary fence until the garden is strong enough? Until it bursts forth with enough fruit so that you can give to even those who do not respect it? So, gardener, cultivate the art of weeding your garden. Look to see that the soil is correct. Keep your eye on the clouds, on the horizon, the heat of the day. Cover the delicate plants that need protection while they grow strong. Protect them. Ask those who would not protect to leave. Build a temporary fence until the garden is strong enough, until it bursts forth with enough fruit so that you can give to those even who don't respect it. So to doubt a healing because of continued symptoms is a mistake in the form of lack of trust. You must fully receive before you can give. Be you therefore a wise gardener. Cultivate a deep love and respect for yourself, for you are not here to fix the world. You are not here to fix your brother or sister. It is only love that heals, and until you have loved yourself wholly, by having purified the mind of every erroneous thought you have ever held, until you have loved yourself, you do not, in truth, love anyone or anything, save in those brief moments when you let your guard down, and the love of God shines forth through you so quickly you do not even know what happened. The wise gardener cultivates a state of consciousness in which the love of God is unimpeded. So be you therefore a wise gardener. Well, this is pretty much all underlined. I don't know if we need to read it all. Did you not understand this? Just trust the process. Do not serve other masters or even your ego. Just be quiet and listen. Beloved friends, those of you that have elected to answer a call to participate in this pathway with this family, if you would make your commitment to trusting your Creator for having set before you a pathway that can lead you home, you will indeed arrive at home. But commitment means that you do not get to leave the room when the shouting begins. The shouting we are speaking of is the shouting within your own mind, within your own body, within your own emotions. Just remember, you have elected to do this, to participate. You volunteered, so make your commitment to trusting what is set before you by yourself, and this will be home, and you will arrive home. You do not leave when shouting or shouting begins. The shouting is your own mind, body, emotions, or screaming for that matter. It means that you stay with these things by being honest about them and loving yourself for ever having the power to even create such insane perceptions of yourself and the world around you. So you stay with these things, being honest about them, loving yourself for having the power to create yourself and the world that you see. The way of the heart is the final pathway that any soul can enter. There are many stages of awakening. There are many pathways that can be followed, but ultimately, all roads lead to Rome, as they say. Eventually, each soul must find its way into the way of the heart. Each soul must come back to the truth that it is time to take responsibility, to learn to cultivate the ability to look upon the deep and vicious blackness of what I have called ego, which is nothing more than the cesspool of denial. It is that which lacks light. Some cool definitions there. The way of the heart is singular, a final pathway. Any soul can enter, any. There are many stages of awakening, many pathways. Each must find the way of the heart in whichever way you choose. Hopefully this is yours. Each must take responsibility, look upon ego, which is denial, is that which lacks light. This is, you've heard of Mephistopheles. It's a name that translates to the eye which does not love the light is the eye that I love, which is ego. So be lighthearted, and you know you're lighthearted when there is no darkness in your heart. Begin to bring light back to it by simply observing your own mind, it being your mind, your own behavior and your own reactions with a sense of wonder, with a sense of innocence, and with a sense of childlikeness. So bring light when observing your mind, behavior, and reactions. Wonder with innocence and with childlikeness. In meditation, this is called noting. For is it not written that you must again become a little child to enter the kingdom? The little child simply marvels at all they see and says, how about that? Can you imagine looking upon the deepest, darkest parts of your own shadow, of your own denials, and being able to say, oh, how about that? Remember that everything is neutral, and all that arises within your consciousness has no effect upon the truth of your reality. So, little child, enter the kingdom. Little child, see. And when you do, say, well, how about that? Looking the deepest, darkest parts, your shadow, your denials, and say, oh, how about that? Just note the experience or perception of it with light. Remember, with light, everything has no effect upon reality. The way of the heart is a way of cultivating the decision to become identified with the light that can shine away all darkness, not by fighting with it, but by recognizing it, embracing it as your own creation, and choosing again. The way of the heart is the way that I teach. And now we begin a focused, in-depth study together, that this way might become established within your holy mind. The way of the heart, through noting, is the decision to become light. By recognizing it and embracing it, this is yourself now. Choosing again, the way of the heart. I teach. This way established your holy mind in the first place. This is the real world.